Hello and welcome to another update video. We want to cover the NASDAQ today. Obviously haven't covered it for a while. It's all about capacity. I would love to update these much more frequently. But now I want to do the NASDAQ a little bit more here on YouTube, given that we now offer the S&P 500 on a daily basis in our stocks and S&P service. So if you're interested in daily S&P updates and updates about 20 stocks, check out the Patreon link in the description. The NASDAQ is not included, at least not yet. I may also update it irregularly in there and probably share the TradingView chart soon in there as well, to increase the value basically of that service, because a lot of people ask for the NASDAQ. But obviously we are building still and building the team, and it's all capacity, capacity. So, I would love to analyze thousands of charts per day, but obviously, the day only has so many hours, right? So anyway, I know a lot of people are interested in the NASDAQ, so let's take a look at that. So NASDAQ, key question here, similar to the S&P 500, very similar problem. I discussed it already many weeks ago. The main problem is this wave 4? So after we topped in a wave 3 in 22, the low here, the low in November 22, October, November, is that already the wave 4, or is that just the A wave? We're moving up in a B wave and we will break down in a C wave later. Or is the low already in and we go more directly to, to finish off this 5th wave, which is basically a bit too high. So that's the question that will need to be answered. I'm leaning towards the orange wave count, which is pushing higher, but I haven't got that clear low in place. Now, at the moment, looking at the S&P, it looks like it might have put a bottom in place. We obviously discussed that in much more detail in the stocks and S&P service, but it looks like it might have put a bottom in place. Next week will be critical. The NASDAQ maybe as well, exactly where it needed to. So we're going to take a look at that. Zooming in. So basically the price action up here will give us the answer if wave 4 already bottomed or not. So first of all, let's focus here on the, no, sorry. I did say I'm leaning towards the orange count. That's actually not necessarily correct. I'm actually at the moment leaning towards another high. That would be ideal, but we should get another high in the white wave count and in the orange one. So yeah, so, as long as we are not breaking below 14,328, we should be able to push higher. We're going to talk about why. So first of all, if we're following just the white wave count, we've got here an ABC structure initially into the February highs. That forms a larger A wave. Then we came down in a B wave, and then a pretty, you could say impulsively looking move up in a C wave. This is sort of the base case at the moment. You could also call it a 1-2, a 1-2-1-2 setup, which is fine as well. It would just escalate a little higher. That's sort of more the orange wave count then, yeah? That's sort of more the orange wave count where we have a 1-2, third wave still in the making, yeah? Either way, they are basically mirror counts until up here, until we have the next high, basically testing the all-time high. Then they might depart. Then they might diverge, these two wave counts. But in the short term, I would just focus on the white count, because otherwise it makes things too complex. And both are basically moving together until we get another high. Okay, so at the moment, the question is not so important which one it is. It's more important to understand, as long as we're holding certain levels, we can focus on higher. So what we've got down here, especially since the March low, we've got a pretty nice 1-2 setup, 5 waves up in a third wave to the July high, yeah, and then an ABC structure to the downside. It is also possible that this C wave already finished here. Basically that the entire rally is already over. But then I will only know that if we break through support. And I don't see it as too likely, at least it's not my primary scenario, because the move down looks very much corrective. And we're going to zoom in now to the 4-hour chart. So it's really about this structure here. So the price landed in support for a wave 4. This is the primary scenario that we're in a wave 4. So the question is, do we get just one more high or two? And the condition is it's holding 14,328. The main question in the short term to answer is the low already in? So the thing is, similar to the S&P 500, the price produced 3 waves to the downside. That's not a 5-wave move down, which is exactly the reason why I'm leaning towards higher. Then we had a corrective move to the upside, a lot of overlapping price action here. So this was an A, B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an ending diagonal, A, B, C. So that's all working out. And then we came down in probably 5 waves already. So I can count this complete to the downside. It also made a lower low, a slightly lower low. Honestly, I would prefer one more low, but it's now with Friday's, let's call it pump. I think that has become a little less likely. So the low might indeed already be in. I mean, it has done what it needs to do. You know, it broke below the A wave low. I can count 5 waves down in wave C. Here probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. You can shift them around in the micro, but it's 5 waves down. You can count that, and that's what a C wave needs to do. And if we look at micro resistance, yeah, for this rally that started on Friday, it's broken above the 50% retracement level now. So we have to assume that a low is in, but the evidence will come with the first deep pullback. If the first deep pullback generates a higher low, then yeah, we can say the low is in. And if it can now hold the Friday low, we should in the, let's say, short term, get first of all to the B wave high at 15,730. And then I wouldn't be surprised if in the coming weeks or even months or weeks, we're going to test basically the all-time high. Okay. And this is looking good. I mean, anywhere in the yellow box, you would expect a turnaround. I gave you that box already in the last video many weeks ago. I did suggest a different microstructure, but the support was relevant and the support didn't break. So it was just delayed a little bit, this wave 4 that we're dealing with at the moment. So it's good to see that you were up to date already in the last video. Just the microstructure changed a little bit. And yeah, support did hold, turned around where it needed to. I just have a slight problem with this because double bottoms rarely hold. So it's a bit too early to really confirm a low in place, but I might be able to do that next week. But it's looking good. Yeah, it's certainly the first time now that we could say possibly a low is in. You know, the first time since this sell-off started end of July, because we have 3 waves down. And yeah, it could get another low. I mean, if we talk about Fibonacci extensions, it could even go a little lower. I mean, Fibonacci extension-wise, you would normally be looking for the 1-to-1 ratio, ideally, around about 14,300, basically very close to the 50% retracement. Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, it did what it needed to do. It tested the 78.6 extension. So there's no rule that says a wave C has to reach the 1-to-1 ratio. It's just likely. Could still turn into a diagonal with a very deep wave 4 here and then one more low. Let's see. But, you know, if we get 2 more lows, that would be concerning. But 1 more low would be okay as long as we're holding basically 14,330. Below that level, I will start to assume, something more bearish might be playing out. And that's exactly the risk that we might have with the S&P as well. The next deeper pullback will be the stress test. That will be the case here as well. So I will update that more regularly, the NASDAQ. Yeah, so let me know if you have any questions. I hope that was clear. Hope my primary scenario is clear. Obviously, if we break below 14,328, then I will have to assume that this B wave topped already here, and that we're already coming down in the C wave and possibly will go below the October lows potentially. So quite dramatic sell-off. But the thing is, you know, this move down was just in 3 waves, so it would be a bit odd to see that. It's at least not the most likely scenario. Okay, that's my update about the NASDAQ. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And as I said, this week we launched our stocks and S&P 500 service. If you're interested in daily updates or daily video updates about the S&P and updates about certain stocks every day, then yeah, check out the Patreon link in the video description, and then you can read through which stocks are included and the different benefits of each tier. And if you're interested, maybe we'll see you on Discord. If not, that's fine as well. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.